Hello, welcome to Eden Hope Academy. We are doing art and we are finishing up World War I this week or next week at Eden Hope. And as we talk about it, we really need to keep in mind the number of people who died because of this conflict. And remember, it was a conflict that was started out of egos, out of Kaiser Wilhelm saying he wanted Germany's place in the sun, meaning he wanted to expand Germany and make people respect them. Japan entered in because they wanted to garner respect and show that they were being supportive. And then it had those alliances where one country would say, well, I'll defend you if you're hurt by another country, which is good, but it just drug in more and more and more countries until people were being just killed from all over the world. And so when these men died, they were laid to rest. They were buried right there, generally right around where they died, because there was no way to really get their bodies back home. And so that really touched Canadian doctor, and who was also a colonel in the Canadian Army, John McCrae. And so he wrote this poem, and it was about Flanders field, where it's very famous, and there are poppies all around Flanders field. So he wrote this poem. It says, in Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still singing, bravely singing fly, scarce heard among the guns below. We are the dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if you break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. So that is one of the most famous poems about World War I, and I thought it was a great way to commemorate the end of our studies of World War I. So what the students will be doing is making a wreath to commemorate Flanders Field, and this is one that's almost done. So the first part of what they'll do, first is they'll take a green sheet of paper, and they'll cut basically a wreath shape. So it does not have to be perfect. Remember, with art, it does not have to be perfect. It can be an oval wreath, which are very beautiful. So they'll just cut off these corners, and it doesn't have to have all the parts cut off, and then they'll just punch a hole in the center. Oh. If you fold it and cut it, it makes it a lot easier to get that hole. And so they'll just make it into a big O shape. Just like this. So, perfect. So the next thing they're going to do is they're going to take their poppies, which are the 10s, and they're going to cut them just to make them uneven, just like they would poppies. So no big deal on how they cut them. I'm cutting mine a little bit unevenly on purpose just to give you an idea. So something like this is absolutely perfect. So this will be the outside poppy, and then they'll cut it again, and they'll put another one inside out in the inside, like this, so it'll be that dark red on both sides. And if they want to cut this a little bit too, the other one, they can, to make them just have a little bit of dimension to them. Just like that. So they'll glue this onto their ring. The glue's not coming out. So they'll glue each of these to their ring, and then they'll glue them to each other. And they'll just keep going around and doing that all the way around. So the most important thing to remember is the outside one goes with the colored part out, and then the inside one gets flipped so that it still has that pretty color on both sides. The pretty red will be on both sides. Next, I'll take just a bit of the yellow and black paper, and they'll make the inside of their poppy. So they will just cut little squares from the paper. They'll just cut little squares from the paper like this, make them into little circles, and glue a black one down first, and then just a little bit smaller, and that will be the yellow one. They don't have to go directly on top of each other. They can go kind of to the side. And then they'll glue them in like this. So you don't have to be perfect, remember that. And finally, when they've gone all the way around their circle and they have all of their tins put on, they will take little puffs of green, little tears of green tissue paper, and they'll poke it in to just give a little bit more dimension. And they'll glue, whoopsie, they'll poke it in just to give it a little bit more dimension, and then they'll glue these on so that the entire sheet has some dimension to it and has some green showing up. And so when you go through this with your students, just make sure you have them understand why we're doing it. It's because Flanders Field has the graves of many soldiers who passed away during World War I, and it's filled with poppies, and it's still there today, so people can go visit it. And it's just to commemorate World War I with a poppy wreath. So that's our art for this week. I'm so glad you're joining us.